Welcome to the deep dive. We're going straight into it today, looking at the major escalation between Iran and Israel.
Yeah, a really significant few days.
Our goal is pretty simple. Walk you through the timeline, try to understand what, kicked this off based on the information we had up to Saturday, June 14th, 2025.
Exactly. And remembering that date is important because things were fluid, but this is the picture from the reports available then.
Okay, so let's unpack it. Things really seem to ramp up starting Thursday night, right? June 12th, there was a report.
That's right, from the UN's nuclear watchdog, the IAEA.
And what did it say? Because this seems key.
Well, according to the reports, it alleged Iran had breached its nuclear obligations. And the significant part noted in the material was this was reportedly the first time for this specific kind of breach in like almost 20 years.
Wow, 20 years.
Yeah. And this wasn't out of the blue exactly. It came after years of, tension bubbling between Iran and the watchdog. So it immediately sparked fears Iran might escalate its nuclear program, which apparently they'd threatened before.
Okay, so that report lands Thursday night. Then what happens?
Well, the reaction was fast. Less than 24 hours later, early Friday local time, reports came in that Israel had launched a major operation.
Operation Rising Lion, was it called?
That's the reported name, yes. Operation Rising Lion. And sources described it as having sort of two main parts.
Okay.
First, initial reports talked about swarms of smaller drones.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were hitting air defense radars, communications, maybe trying to, clear the path.
Getting the path for the second part.
Exactly, because then sources detailed hundreds of Israeli fighter jets conducting precision strikes all across Iran, hitting reportedly well over 100 targets.
100 targets. That's extensive. What kind of targets are we talking about?
A real mix, based on the reports. Key nuclear facilities were apparently hit, the big names like Natanz and Fordo, the Isfahan Research Center, places central to enrichment.
Right, the core nuclear sites.
And also military bases, Bid Kana, Parchin were mentioned, plus air defenses, missile bases. Even Tehran's Mehrabad airport was reportedly hit.
And there were claims, difficult claims about residential areas.
Yeah, the material did mention claims that some residential areas were hit, reportedly unintentionally, during attempts to target specific individuals.
Individuals, including senior figures. The reports mentioned casualties.
Yes, significant ones according to the Saturday reports. Top military leaders were named, like the Chief of Staff, Major General Bagheri, the IRGC Commander General Salami, others too.
And scientists.
That too. Reports specifically named at least 9 nuclear scientists allegedly killed. People like Mohammed Mehdi Taranchi, Faridun Abbasi. The analysis suggested, a strategy aimed at both the hardware and the brain power behind the program. The brains, as one source put it.
So, a huge operation from Israel following that UN report. How did Iran respond?
Also quickly, just hours later on Friday, reports said Iran retaliated. They launched multiple waves of ballistic missiles towards Israel.
And we saw the reports, air raid sirens in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem.
Absolutely. Sirens went off, people running for shelter. Israel's Iron Dome system was active, but reports indicated several missiles got through. They caused damage.
Where they hit?
Reports mentioned sites in central Tel Aviv, Rishon LeZion, Ramat Gan, so populated areas.
And casualties on the Israeli side from Iran's strikes.
Yes. By Saturday morning, initial reports mentioned 3 civilians killed. Later information added reports of 7 soldiers wounded in central Israel. And there were also reports of 5 people, including kids, injured in the occupied West Bank from shrapnel.
So this immediate trigger seems to be the UN report in Israel's operation. But as you said, this has deeper roots, doesn't it? The sources point to a long history here.
Definitely. I mean, this didn't happen in a vacuum. It's framed as a consequence of that long-running tension. Israel's stated goal has always been preventing Iran getting nuclear weapons and arming allies.
And there's a history of incidents, sabotage and things.
Exactly. The sources mentioned things like the Stuxnet virus back in 2010, the nuclear archive claims in 2018, the U.S. pulling out of the nuclear deal that same year.
Yeah.
All adding to the friction that, seems to have boiled over here into direct, large-scale strikes. Again, all based on reports up to June 14th.
Okay, so just to recap the core sequence, the alleged nuclear breach report comes out. Then Israel launches Operation Rising Lion, hitting many sites and individuals. Then Iran retaliates with missile strikes, causing casualties and damage in Israel.
That's the chain of events reported up to that Saturday. And it was seen as a major shift. Possibly the first time that exchanged fire so directly and intensely. It definitely raised fears about a wider conflict.
And the U.S. reaction.
Well, Iran reportedly accused the U.S. of involvement, which the U.S. denied. The U.S. president reportedly commented that Iran uh, brought the violence on itself.
So looking at this timeline, again, based on what was known by Saturday, June 14th, 2025, in these reported positions, it really lays bare that link between alleged nuclear steps, those deep tensions, and then sudden military action. It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What are the potential paths forward, or maybe the biggest sticking points now, given everything that just happened? Something for you, the listener, to think about.